Okay, in today's Training Tip Tuesday, we're going to talk about how to teach your dog to walk nicely on a leash. We're going to need a leash, training collar, and food rewards, okay? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab the leash in our right hand, and we're going to start walking in a straight line. So I'm going to walk, and I basically want him to start following me. If he goes past me, I simply turn to the right, and I begin to walk again, and I want to use my left hand to guide him off to my left side, okay? So as he comes up to my left side, what I want to do is grab a piece of food and hold it down my left side and encourage him to stay there. Once he's next to me on my left side, I'm going to say, good, give him a piece of food, okay? Gunner. Good. If he goes past me, again, I turn, food out, right here. If he does that, turn, food right here. Good. Good. So I want to develop the habit of being next to me on my left side or right side, depending on which way you want your dog to walk with you, versus pulling away from you with the leash. So the second that he walks past me, I turn to the right, and I'm going to hold my hand out, and I want him to be nice and next to me on my left side like this. Good. Give him a piece of food, and then I can turn again. Do not give him food until you say the word good. And he has to be next to you, wanting that food just like this, good, before you allow him to have it, okay? So through repetition, we're going to teach him that being next to us, good, gets him good things, and he gets rewards for being there. Moving away from us does not get him what he wants. Good. Good. So again, I'm going to do this repetitiously with the dog until I can get to the point where I don't need food and they'll stay next to me. Good. Now the other thing we like to do in this process is teach the dog to sit next to us when we stop walking, right? So in order to do that, we have the dog next to us. They want the food that's in our hand. We stop. We pull our hand up. They sit. Good. We give them a piece of food, okay? Good. So the order there is you teach him to walk next to you nice and loosely. If he goes ahead of you, you turn to the right, keep walking. And then once you've gotten that pretty good through repetition and just practicing that, then you're going to work on having him sit next to you anytime you stop walking. And the way you're going to do that again is you've got him next to you. He wants the food in your hand. You stop. As soon as you stop, you pull that hand up. He sits, you say, good, give him the reward. And you can already tell he's kind of calmed down and he's remaining right there, okay? So let's do it again. Turn to the right. He comes up next to me. He wants the food. Good. He's staying next to me. I turn to the right again, even though he stayed next to me. Good. So now that I've got right turns pretty good, so I turn to the right. I don't have any food out, but he's staying pretty good next to me. Good. So once I have good right turns, I'm going to then work on left turns, okay? And the way you do that is I've got the food in my hand, and I'm going to turn my body in a sharp 180, and he's just going to follow that food in my hand. Once I complete the turn, I say, good, give him a piece of food. Walking in a straight line, I have the food out, I turn to the left. He moves out my way because he's trying to get the food in my hand. Good. Give him a piece of food. Turn to the left. He's following my hand. Good. Gunner. Good. Okay, so remember, repetition. It's going to take more than one day to teach this. You got to take the time and teach your dog that walking next to you is the best thing possible. If they go ahead of you, there's nothing good out there for them, right? So you need to start by turning to the right and not allowing your dog to walk out ahead of you. And then once you have the right turns down, you start to work on the left turns. And then once you have the left turns down, you start to, or after you have the right turns down, you start to work on that sit anytime you stop. And then you work on your left turns. And again, practice makes perfect, so keep working at it. All right, so as I've been working with my dog with food, and my dog has learned the movements needed to maintain good leash walking skills, I'm going to start to slowly take away the food from the training. Okay, so the way that we do that is we can use the leash to guide him versus having the food. So if I'm going to turn left, I can grab the leash with my left hand, back up a little bit, have him come over to my left, and then just let him follow me in the leash as we continue to walk. So if I'm going to turn left, can guide him with the leash, I back up a step, he kind of steps back with me, then I just guide him with the leash. I don't want to have a tight leash all the time. I only want to have a tight leash when he's not staying with me. Okay? Good boy. And continue to randomly reward with food. Nope. Gunner. Good. For maintaining good behavior with you. Okay? If he stops to sniff or if he stops to pee, that doesn't get to happen unless you allow it. His job when walking is to stay with you. Good. So now I'm turning left and I'm not having to use the leash. And he's adjusting to me. But again, repetition and practice are going to be your best friends when you're working through this with your dog. Notice how the leash is loose across my body. So if I turn to the right, he can feel me with the leash and how I'm moving and respond to that. If I turn to the left, he's adjusting his body to me, which is what we want to see. And that happens through use of teaching him how to move with the food and then with the leash. So I take a step back, use the leash just to guide him around with me. Once he's with me again, I drop it and keep a nice loose leash. Okay?